I thought I'd do a quick run through on the latest updates on the AKYN main workbook. As you may know, Amazon's no longer supporting Internet Explorer, and we were relying on Internet Explorer to automatically transfer data from your seller's central account into this workbook. Unfortunately, we can no longer do that, so we had to make some changes. The main changes are shown in this Import Reports tab. You now have to manually download certain reports from your Seller Central account. And in this section, we tell you where to find those reports and how to generate those relevant reports. And these buttons here make it easy for you to transfer the data from those downloaded reports into the relevant tabs in the spreadsheet. For purposes of this demo, I already generated the reports for 2020 and 2019. Pretending for the moment that 2020 is the current year. But if you had to generate those reports, you would go to Reports, click on Payments, then click on Generate Report. Make sure the report type is Transaction, account type is All, and then you'd enter the dates here. So if I was generating the report for the entire 2020, I'd have 1/1/2020 to 12/31/2020 here, and click the Generate button. Once the report is ready, you'll have the Download button here, so just click that and save the file to your computer. Let's go back to the spreadsheet here. So now that we've downloaded the reports, we click this and we choose the report for 2020, and it transfers the data into the Transactions tab. And do the same for 2019. Here's the 2019 data, and it transfers it to the Transactions PY tab. So now let's look at our financials. Now that we have updated our data for our transactions, let's click this, give it a few seconds, and then the spreadsheet will be populated with your numbers. And then we'll get this message here, check missing cost tab for any missing SKU cost. Enter missing cost information in products bought for resale tab. Let's get rid of that message for a moment, but here's the missing cost tab, and it lists a bunch of SKUs, and we'll return to this in a moment, but I wanted to show you the financials tab. Once we hit refresh, that all your gross sales, reimbursements, and the various fees that you paid Amazon for are gonna show up here. The transfers for from your Amazon account to your bank account are also shown here. This isn't really new to the workbook. It's been there all along. It was the import that has changed, but I haven't covered these in a video, so I thought I'd do that here. So going back here, we see that the cost of goods line here is empty. It's 0, and that's because of the missing cost tabs. We haven't told the spreadsheet how much we paid for purchasing our inventory, and so it's the transaction reports said that you sold a bunch of these SKUs. So we have to input information for how much these SKUs cost. And we would enter that information in this tab, products bought for resale. But for purposes of this video, I already prepared a information here so that we can copy in this spreadsheet. So let's say on January 2nd, I bought this SKU for $17.62, and I bought 10 of those. So you'd enter that information here. These are dummy numbers just for illustration purposes. But once you enter the last row of information, then you click this to copy the formulas all the way down. Okay. So let's go back to Financials tab. Now we have an estimate of our cost of goods sold. Okay. We also have a line for cost of goods sold true up. That's when you have to make some fixes to your cost of goods sold. The estimated cost of goods sold in this line. For any inventory that's not accurately reflected in your Amazon transaction reports, for example, you might have inventory that was damaged when you purchased them, or expired if they had expiration dates, or got lost. So there is the ability to reflect the cost of such inventory in this spreadsheet, but we're not going to go through that for purposes of this video. The other thing I wanted to show is that, okay, we have a tentative profit or loss here, but it's not really accurate because we haven't yet reflected expenses that we incurred outside of those that we paid Amazon for. For example, perhaps you did some additional advertising on Facebook to drive traffic to your products, or you had mileage costs, or you have people you paid or companies you paid to prep and ship, okay, and so forth. So we have these expenses here, but this is not the place where you enter your expenses. The place to enter your expenses is in this tab, Other Expenses tab. Okay, let's say you have car and truck expenses or mileage expenses. Let's pretend that we had that, and let's just say you had such expenses in these months that you want to report, say $20, $30, $40. And then you also had prep costs. We'll put that under contract labor. And put the dates when you incurred them. Let's say 500, 600, 700. And then click copy. Click this button to copy the formulas down. So now if you go back to the Financials tabs, the contract labor costs are now showing up here. Car and truck showing up here. Okay. They're also showing in the cash flow section. Now it's populated for other expenses other than what you paid Amazon. It's also showing the profit and loss section, those combined amounts. So once you populated the other expenses section and you have your cost of goods sold, then you have a more accurate profit and loss calculation. That's about it for purposes of this video. Hope it's helpful. If you have any questions or you want me to cover other sections of this workbook, just put it in the comments. Thanks.